What's up, everybody, and welcome to Tale of the Tape, where we're gonna talk about MMA. We're here every week. It's your boy Craig
and Mike Johnson,
and we have a fully loaded show for you. A lot of recap and a big upcoming event. So we're gonna jump right into it with no hesitation. So last Saturday we had the UFC Fight Night, June 29th, at the Target Center in Minneapolis. And the main event, Francis Ngannou versus Junior Dos Santos. And this, we said it before, that we didn't know how good this event was going to be, but it ended up being jam-packed. And since we have so much to talk about, we're going to try and knock these out as quick as possible. In the heavyweight division, it started off big right from the jump. Maurice Green, 7-2, going up against Junior Albini, 14-5, and that was a pretty handed fight right there.
Great way to start the show for sure. Albini's got to figure something out. He's way too square off. He can't seem to reach fighters with his striking.
Correct.
I mean,
I think his reach is just short too.
He came out with crazy power when he first debuted, but he's got to figure his game out. He's not getting it done.
No, yeah, I thought he was super impressive when he first came in. He didn't look like he'd be impressive, but he did impress me. But he's lost his last two fights, both to knockouts. Maurice Green looked really good. He did get rocked at one point.
Definitely.
Put up against the fence, but he recovered and he put Albini away.
Yeah, I think that was more just Albini's power.
Yeah.
He got in, but Maurice Green didn't let him in close again. Finished him off.
That was nice. All right, and then we had another really exciting fight. You didn't know what was going to happen, but Emily Whitmire, 4-2, goes up against debuting in the UFC, Amanda Ribas, who was 6-1, coming out of Combate, which I believe is a Mexican promotion. But this fight was exciting.
Super impressive. Ribas was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, she came out with a super game plan to control her with her strength. Completely overpowered Whitmire. I mean, she was the more experienced fighter.
Yeah.
And it didn't look it. Ribas put on a show.
She did put on a show. I think we're gonna enjoy seeing more fights from her. She's exciting. She's tough. She reminds me of Carolina, but more skilled.
Oh, absolutely.
And with a ground game, because she's not afraid to come forward. She'll keep attacking, but she's more talented.
Absolutely.
So therefore,
I don't think I've seen a woman at her weight that strong too. She looked really strong and
wicked
impressive.
overpowering. Yeah. And that was a win by submission. Do you remember was it a rear naked?
I believe so.
Yeah.
That she got her. Was that second round?
Second round. Yeah. It was definitely second round rear naked choke.
Yeah, overpowering.
Wicked overpowering. Yeah. Then we had. I wish I would have remembered the guy's name, but Dalcha Lungiambio.
Luangabela?
Uangabela.
I believe.
Yeah, Uangabela. It was supposed to be versus Justin Leddit, but they threw in a replacement fighter. I didn't write his name down. Tall black guy with dreads. And it was a really good replacement. For this guy to have come in on short notice, he was putting in work. He was no slouch. He didn't just get beat.
He was a veteran fighter. Yeah. I believe it might have been his UFC debut. Stepping in. I can't remember his name either. He was long and rangy.
Yep.
And he had a pretty good game plan at first. He stayed away from the power, but second round, Luangabula with the bull rush.
Yeah, and that's his thing. He has that bull rush takedown. He got the takedown, and from there it was just a matter of time before he put the work in, and that was a TKO finish as well.
Yeah, scary athletic fighter for the weight class, and I think he needs some work though to put some skills together. I think he's gotten where he is on athleticism and knockout power.
Correct. I can't disagree with that more. He definitely relies. I watched one fight where he literally the punch he landed, like he looked down and just threw. Like the eye closed Hail Mary punch, and it landed flush, but I do believe he relies on his athleticism, strength, and
I call that the pitcher's punch. It looks like they're throwing a big wind-up pitch, head goes way down. Yeah.
So, but all in all, this was a good quality fight.
It was.
I want to see his opponent fight again.
Because I believe that he did real well, keeping him back.
Both fighters need to develop, but Dalcha is the fighter to look out for right now.
Absolutely.
Next on the fight card in the lightweight division, you had Jared Gordon going up against Dan Morit. I actually had Dan Morit winning this fight, but we saw differently as the fight progressed. What'd you think?
Morit had good striking range. You know, it seemed to be doing pretty well on the feet, but Gordon smothered him on the ground. He was conservative with his ground and pound. You know, Morit was able to keep the guard most of the time, but it was just pounding on him. Yeah, you know, like the whole time.
Dan Morit looked really good in the first round. Like
he really did.
He was striking well. He got taken down, turned it around. He was going for submissions a lot. He looked really good. And then after the first round, it was like he had no answer for Jared Gordon any further than that.
He just held him down and beat on him. You know.
I do give it to Dan Morit though. His ground defense was well. He should have.
Absolutely.
A lot of fighters would have got submitted.
I think so. Gordon, you know, he needs some work too, maybe, you know, because it wasn't, you know, really exciting.
It wasn't just impressive.
But it was a smart way to win. He knew that, you know, he had no answer for it. After winning the second round that way he did, he knew, you know, do the same thing in the third, get the win.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So then there was a fight, Jordan Griffin versus Vince Murdoch, that I believe got canceled. I didn't see that fight. No. It wasn't listed as a win, which is why I believe there was no fight pass fight.
Okay.
Maurice Green and Junior Albani came up into the prelims. So the next fight was a really good one, Eric Anders versus Vinicius Castro. And light heavyweight bout. Eric Anders, if you remember, got beat really bad by Khalil Roundtree. Pretty much a dominant performance.
Yes.
And then so he's coming in to try to save his job. Vinicius Castro coming off a loss as well. What do we think about that one?
I think it was a fantastic win for Anders. He really needed it.
Yeah.
Like you said, the big loss to Roundtree, and I think he lost before that as well after a tear that he was on.
Yep.
You know, putting guys to bed. But you seen, you know, some vintage Eric Anders in this. Landed the shot and followed it hard, and that was that.
Yeah, and it was and like I think it was just, you know, Eric Anders really just coming back to trying to get back to winning. Makes me want to see him go up against Dalcha.
Absolutely.
I think that's the next fight to make. Two powerful guys.
I think that's a great fight because, you know, the power. You know, Luangabula might have the advantage over anybody on pure athleticism, but Anders, you know, he could take a shot and he can dish out some punishment. That boy hits hard.
He does hit hard, and I think he might have the answer for the wild attack of Dalcha.
I think maybe the way to go is to go straight at him. I mean, put him with his back on the fence. How is he going to feel like that? Nobody's probably ever done that to him.
You know what? And I think you might be right about that one.
And Anders is the guy to do it. I think
because he has the power, he has the strength,
and he's not scared to get in on him.
And he's not scared. I mean, even when he fought Khalil Roundtree, he was it was getting put on him, and he went the distance.
But he still comes at you. Yeah, he's still gonna fight.
So I think that would be an excellent matchup for a future fight night. Maybe even it could even be a headlining fight for a fight night.
Co-main event, or maybe even a main event.
Co-main event or a main event. Either way, I think that would be an exciting fight to watch.
Yeah, I think that win is big for Anders. You know, puts him back in the contention. Yeah, absolutely.
So then next on the card, Ricardo Ramos, 12-2, went up against Journey Newsom, 7-1. I believe was this Journey Newsom's debut in the UFC?
I think he was a fill-in as well. Maybe it was a couple weeks back.
Yeah. I
think the original opponent got hurt. I don't believe I saw this one.
So this was a bantamweight fight. Once again, I feel like I don't remember much about this fight because it wasn't very exciting. So I'm just going to say it went to a decision. Ricardo Ramos takes that victory, and that's all I can really tell you about that fight because I really can't remember it.
I don't remember that one.
And I believe it was what's crazy, I think it was the main event of the prelims, and so it didn't really linger in my mind, so we're gonna have to just move on from that fight.
Right. Well, hats off to Journey Newsom going the distance in his first UFC fight.
Yeah, his first UFC fight. So hats off to you. But then we have another exciting fight, another exciting fighter, light heavyweight, Alonzo Menifield, 8-0, going up against Paul Craig, 11-3. And I really like this fight. I thought it was a really good matchup. But Paul Craig just did not have an answer for Alonzo Menifield.
No, you know, kind of the same as Luangabula stylistically, but, you know,
I think more technical.
Menifield was just definitely more technical and a little more patient, but, you know, it's another guy with a bull rush of a style.
Yeah.
And
he's just overpowering and overwhelming.
Incredible upper body strength from the look of him. I mean, and punching power is incredible. Yeah, for sure.
This fight was just, I mean, it just showed you why Alonzo Menifield is 8-0 and why he's on a tear. And if we're talking about matchups, then I would love to see him go up against Khalil Rountree.
Absolutely.
You know, Khalil Rountree has improved so much in his game, and he's gotten so much confidence to put him up against a guy who's undefeated and see what happens.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be both guys are really strong and really athletic. I'd like to see that.
Not to take anything away from, you know, Paul Craig's striking ability, but you know, Khalil Rountree is very well put together and diverse. And that'll be a big test for him on standing up on the feet because he wants to stand and bang.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
And he would stand with Rountree.
And I think the thing that would be different is Rountree has definitely been the more of the aggressor in his fights, where Alonzo is the aggressor in his fights. So I would like to see how Rountree adapts to a guy who's coming at him hard with power and confidence in his durability.
Perhaps the same, you know, key to beat Luangabula could work against Menifield. Has Menifield been pushed back to the cage before?
And I think that would be an amazing matchup.
I think that opens a fighter's eyes when they're completely, you know, dominant against all their opponents from going forward, and then everybody's scared to come toe-to-toe. And when they run into a guy who wants to push him back, you know, things change.
Yeah, that whole bully scenario. Yeah.
You know?
If you hit a bully back, watch what happens. This could be that situation for both Alonzo Menifield and Dalcha. But I think we gave both these guys matchups that we really want to see in the future.
Yeah, I would love to see him tested against quality opposition like that.
And that could be an exciting fight. So we'll see what happens. But Alonzo Menifield gets the vicious TKO and progresses to 9-0. So we want to see more of this guy in the future. Didn't take a lot of damage, so we'll probably see him fight soon. Next fight. This one was actually a really good fight. Drew Dober, who's 20-9 with 1 no contest, went against Marco Polo Reyes, who's 8-5. In this fight, you know, it played out really well. What'd you think?
Another finish, I believe.
I believe it was. It was a finish, TKO, and it was just so technical.
Yeah, Dober, you know, displayed some incredible boxing. You know, he's in and out and throwing hands. It was a really impressive victory.
Yeah, Reyes was not ready. I mean, this is a first round TKO. He was not ready for the striking ability of Drew Dober. He is just a well-rounded fighter. He's got tree trunks for legs, and he put it on. He put him on right away. He didn't give him no time.
Yeah, and it was quality too. I mean, the head movement, throwing combinations. He didn't just come in and bull rush like the Menifield or the Luangabula. I mean,
what I like to say is no wasted punches.
Yeah, no wasted punches. Everything landed that he threw and put him right to bed. Very quality.
Yeah, so that was a great fight. This whole card was really good for the most part. I definitely recommend going on ESPN Plus and rewatching this fight if you haven't watched it.
Absolutely, ton of finishes, huh?
Yeah, ton. I mean, we had a lot of finishes. I think half the fights ended in a finish. Yeah. So then next on the list, a little bit of an upset. We had Roosevelt Robert 8-0 going up against Vince Pichel.
Pichel, I think he's a French fighter, perhaps. But
so Vince Pichel.
I really enjoyed this fight, actually. You know, Roosevelt seemed to be winning the striking war. He was in the first round. Yeah. He was way too long for Vince, but he figured it out. He cracked the code, come out in the second round, started, chopping at the legs.
I mentioned to you is that I like Roosevelt's fighting style because he looks like a guy who doesn't know how to fight.
Right. He seems to stand still, but it's the way he gets his lengthy shots off, you know?
Yeah, it's almost like playing possum.
He moves really well, and But his footwork was a little sluggish, but his head movement is fantastic. He stays long with his hips moving backwards. But Pichel just in the second round came out, figured out how to close the distance with some looping punches. He tried to find some different angles, landed some leg kicks, and started taking him down.
Yeah, and he weathered the first round and then completely flipped the fight.
And then just worked it on him. Once they got in the grappling exchange, especially in the third round, I mean, Pichel was just dominating him after that.
It was the second round. You might have thought that there was an opportunity for Roberts to return and maybe do something. But once we got into the third round, it was pretty much all over for Roosevelt Roberts. He didn't have from where the first round, Pichel had no answer.
Right.
Roberts had no answer in the second and third round, and definitely has some stuff to work on.
Oh yeah, maybe some gas tank issues, on the ground, because he seemed to be moving pretty good in the second round from the bottom. But yeah, third round, I mean, he was done.
So now he loses that Pichel gets to take that from him. So now he's 8-1. Pichel moves up to 12-2. Both fighters I definitely want to see fight again.
Absolutely.
I don't have any suggestions, but I definitely would like to see both these fighters make their way up into another.
Yeah, I mean, just keep training, working on their game, and fight whoever. I mean, you see Roosevelt needs to work on the ground game, obviously, and Pichel needs to, figure out how to strike a little better to work on them lengthy fighters. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So they got bright futures, though, both of them.
Absolutely. Definitely two fighters I look forward to seeing in the future. In my personal opinion, this was the disappointing fight of the night coming up, which I thought was going to be one of the more exciting fights of the night, is Demian Maia, 26-9, going up against Rocco Martin. And it just didn't feel like Demian Maia anymore.
No, I feel like he's, lost a step. Yeah. He's 41 years old. The grappling is still there, but the way that he's never tried to improve the striking has really hurt him.
And the only thing I can say about this fight was that I was impressed with Rocco Martin's ability to not get submitted by arguably the best submission artist in the UFC. His ability to not get wrapped up and completely smothered into a submission blew my mind. First round, it looked like it was over.
Yeah.
But he prevented it.
In the way that he stuck with it, too. All them times when Maia was sitting in his lap on the mount up against the cage. I mean, it was a precarious position. One misstep, and he's going to figure out what to do from there. Yeah. And he knew it. So, I mean, that was real dangerous for him. And to come away with the win, how exactly did he?
Demian Maia won by decision.
Okay. And to come away with the win, like that is... because he didn't really beat Rocco Martin to me. You know what I mean?
He laid and prayed him for the most part.
And
he was literally sitting on his lap and just working like the little small jab hooks. Yeah. And I mean, I feel like the only thing that was effective was that he maintained top control.
Right. I think the ground and pound was not even effective in any way. Yeah. I think the ref would have stood it up if it weren't for a mounted position. Yeah.
And the fact that he was just throwing these light jabs, which is moving. I personally wish that the fight got stood up a lot more, almost every time after a minute's time. But
I think that might come into play with the Demian Maia fight too, because these refs know him very well, and they know if he's on top of you, how close he is to submitting you, regardless.
That's also a very good point.
You know what I mean? So to him, any position on the ground is a almost finished position. So they might give him a little
leeway.
I
agree.
Just subconsciously.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it. Yeah, because at any moment you're in danger when you're on the ground. So I guess we can give him the benefit of the doubt of that one.
Yeah.
All right. So then, but it definitely was the least of the night.
Yeah.
But then back to excitement. Flyweight Joey Benavidez, 27-5, going up against Jassier Formaggio, 23-5, and right out the gate, this fight looked really exciting.
Fantastic.
I mean, there was a lot of escaping and submission attempts, a lot of flailing around, and then right back to the boxing. What'd you think?
Great win by Joe Benavidez. I think this should have been an interim title fight, personally.
I agree.
With Cejudo being injured and not being able to defend the flyweight title. But
what a perfect fight for that. I mean, it was worthy of it.
Absolutely, I think so. You know, both of these gentlemen, either one could, you know, be offered a title shot. You know, they were both ready. And
because who else is there? Who's above
honestly,
Joey Benavidez now that Mighty Mouse is gone and Henry Cejudo's injured? Who's above him?
Honestly, I have no idea. He might be the best flyweight I've seen in a long time. I mean,
and he looked
looked really good. He left himself a little exposed on certain exchanges, but I think that might be more telling it about Formiga's style, because he's real tight with a Muay Thai style. And, you know, if you expose yourself to a fighter like that, he's going to catch you with some quick ones down the middle. But Benavidez really put it on him with the big hooks. The scrambles were incredible. I mean, they canceled each other out on the grappling.
Yeah.
But, you know, Formiga got hit with, I believe it was a big left hand.
Yes.
The signature Joey Benavidez. You know, and he crumbled down and covered up. And wanted no more.
No more. Like, it really wasn't even like it was like, I don't want any more. And the ref was like, okay, well, stop it then.
Yeah.
So it was exciting. It was a first round knockout. If I believe it was first round knockout. And I'm a Joey Benavidez fan. Like, he's not one of my favorite fighters, but I do like Joey Benavidez. I think he fights with a lot of heart, and I think he loves the sport. And I think this was a good return fight for him.
Absolutely. And I like what he said about Cejudo. You know, worry about the titles you got and defend them while you're trying to defend them against washed up retired guys. Like, fight the best that there is, and there's nobody better at flyweight.
And no better adversary for Henry Cejudo than Joey Benavidez. So hopefully we'll get to see that fight maybe in a year. But Benavidez should absolutely get the first opportunity at an interim title fight if they offer it up.
Yeah.
And then we on to the main event. And it went down exactly how you thought it would go down. Francis Ngannou, Junior Dos Santos, first round TKO. And it was true Ngannou style.
Yeah, it really was. I thought Dos Santos had a little more for him. Honestly, you know, with the wars that he's been in, I didn't know that he would, you know, crumble from the power. But
and it really was a crumble. It wasn't a TKO. It was a crumble.
Same thing as like the Formiga. I felt, you know, you got hit and it was like, wow, I do not want any more.
Exactly.
And he even turned away after the first shot.
First shot, turned, got caught.
That's why he got caught with the real flush shot.
Yep.
Because he turned away and Ngannou said, okay, I can still reach you with this big arm.
With this big, long arm.
And came right around the back.
That's not linky.
You know, and put it through and put him down to his knees. He covered up.
He kind of reminds me of Rumble.
He didn't want any more. Yeah, absolutely. But he looked a little more patient in this than he has before.
Than he has in a while.
And it was pretty accurate in what we got to see. So
exactly. It was a quick fight. Over early in the first round, and like I said, it was a TKO victory because Dos Santos just dropped down and covered up to weather the storm until the ref broke it up. And hats off to Ngannou for a very, very good victory.
I think an accurate, in shape Francis Ngannou is really scary.
And they've even said he didn't get a chance to utilize it. I thought he might have in the fight against Junior, but they said his ground game has gotten
I bet he really took the Miocic loss hard and really wanted to work on his game, you know, because I think he felt demoralized all the crap he talked, you know, pre-fight. And
it really was. I do honestly believe, though, it was a gas tank problem.
It was.
And not an abilities problem.
Miocic worked his gas tank on purpose. He knew what he was doing.
And that goes to show you the champion that Miocic was.
The strategy of it.
So,
and that's how you got to beat a guy like Ngannou, though. But I mean, he's still young. I think
that should be his next fight.
He's still inexperienced. Why not? Absolutely.
Go up against Miocic, you win, title shot.
Absolutely.
So,
look out for that in the heavyweight division. I think so.
This was a good event.
Or, you know, I just think there's other people who who he could fight, but I think it's just, I don't know why set it up. Like, give him top contention right now.
He definitely deserves top contention. He's proven he's top contender, and Miocic was the champ. Miocic did beat him. Give him a rematch. Let him prove that he should go on to Daniel Cormier, and then let him lose to Daniel Cormier. Because Daniel Cormier is just
he'll probably just strategize that win himself too. I mean, I feel like nobody does that better.
But that's
than
why I say that
DC
Daniel Cormier is too smart to lose to anybody in the heavyweight division right now.
The IQ, I think, is what
it separates him from everybody in every fight, which is why I think he struggles against John Jones, because John Jones has the IQ, and not a lot of fighters they face don't have their IQ.
Better physical.
Yeah. So that was a great event. Like I said, check out ESPN Plus if you have it, and rewatch that event, because that was a stacked fight card that was not expected to go as well as it did, in my opinion. And I believe you shared that same insight. So now we move on to what looks like it could be one of the best pay-per-views we've seen, and I can't even say in a while, because they've all been awesome recently. But this looks like another in the line of great UFC fights. I think that the prelim could actually be a main card on a fight night.
Oh, absolutely.
So, with that being said, we're going to jump right into it. UFC 239, Jones versus Santos, Saturday, July 6th at 10 p.m., T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas. We're going to start right from the bottom, work our way up. We're going to bang through these first ones. Juliana Alvia, 5-1, versus Pannie Kianzad.
Don't know much about her, but I know about Avia. She's coming into the UFC on a tear. Yeah. She's got real power, and I think look for her to get a stoppage here.
Okay, 5-1. That's a good way to come in.
Highly touted athletically. Real knockout power, they say.
Ooh.
And that's,
I like knockout power.
Yeah, and I think bantamweight.
It's bantam?
I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's 130.
I forgot to look that up.
And that's scary.
All right.
So we'll see.
Then we have Ismail Nardaev. Go ahead. You're the pronuncier.
Yeah, that looks good.
All right, 18-2, going up against Chance Rencountre.
Yeah, Rencountre.
And what do we think?
I don't know much about Ismail, but Rencountre, I have seen him fight before. Good grappler. Maybe he'll take it there. I don't know. Like I said, don't know much about Ismail on that one.
All right, we're going to give that one to Chance. So we got Julia Avila and Chance Rencountre taking the first two victories. We have Edmund Shabazian.
Shabazian. Shabazian works with Edmund Tarvedian, Rousey's coach, old coach there.
The boxing coach?
Yeah.
He's a terrible boxing coach. But Edmund is 9-0.
Good fighter.
Going up against Jack Marshman, 23-8.
Right. Up-and-coming fighter, young, 21, Edmund is.
Making his UFC debut?
I believe he is.
I like to give UFC debuts their victory.
No.
Oh, no?
No, I don't think so. I think this is his second fight. In his last post-fight, he was saying how he wanted to try to become the youngest champ and beat John Jones's record. He's got like a year to do it, so he's got to get some quick turnaround. However, his last fight was 38 seconds, knockout in the first round.
Wow.
The kid's a finisher, so watch out for that one.
All right, so we're gonna give this one to Edmund. Next on the list, the first fight in the prelims. That was actually the Fight Pass. So the first fight of the prelims is Alejandro Perez, 21-7, and going up against Sung Yangdong.
Yeah,
who's Sung Yangdong, 13-3 with, this is what bothers me, 2 no contests.
Yeah.
That says that he got busted for drugs after the fight.
Possibly. A real decision fighter from what I read about him. Don't know much about Perez, but he's been fighting quite some time.
Yeah, he has a lot of fights under his belt.
I don't know.
A guy with 2 no contests does not get my confidence.
I'm definitely going to go against him as well.
I'm going to go against him, Alejandro Perez. We're going to take that. Now a fight I am excited for. One of my favorite female fighters in the strawweight division, Claudia Gadelha versus someone who actually is one of my least favorite strawweight fighters, Ronda Marcos. You want to know why Ronda Marcos is my least favorite strawweight fighter? Because of her fighting stance.
Yeah.
Her fight, I'm going to stand up for it. She does this.
Yeah. She is a wrestler.
Yeah, she's a wrestler.
She fights it Greco-Roman style.
Yeah, I hate that stance.
Yeah, it reminds me of another person on this card, Ben Askren. Who comes out just like no qualms about it. I want to grab you. And I don't think.
But she does have decent striking. I've seen Ronda fight, and she has decent striking.
Yeah, and it comes a little unorthodox too because of her, her stance. She's got a lot of shovel type punches coming straight up,
and like the jump in punch.
Yeah.
I do like her. I do like her attack. I hate her stance, but I think this is a really good matchup.
I think so too. I think it's pretty even. Gadelha got good wrestling herself.
And Gadelha at one point, #1 contender.
Right.
She's gone up against Joanna Jędrzejczyk twice for the title. She lost. I believe she actually had she actually beat Joanna before they came to UFC, and then Joanna beat her twice in the UFC to maintain the belt. But I love Claudia Gadelha because she fights with a lot of heart. She's a fighter's fighter.
And she's been around. She's been in wars, and yeah, I'd like to see her win this one.
And I feel like it's a nice return for her. She hasn't fought in a while. Her last fight that she lost was actually against the current champ, Jessica Andrade.
Yeah.
And that was a decision victory, and that was an absolute war. It was back and forth.
Right.
I believe in the final round, Andrade proved herself to win that fight, but in the previous rounds, I believe you had no answer for who the winner was going to be.
I mean, like I said, proven she could stand through the wars.
Yeah. And a chin.
Yeah.
Man, like
to get hit by Andrade and keep coming.
Yeah.
So.
And Joanna was banging on her face and she was zombie mode, but she kept on the attack.
But she doesn't quit. That's more the fortitude and toughness. Yeah, I think she'll get this one.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. I would. There's only a handful of fighters, and by handful, I really do mean 2 or 3 fighters I would ever see are gonna beat Claudia Gadelha. Her wrestling in her division is bar none. I don't know if there is a wrestler in the strawweight division that's better than Claudia Gadelha. The closest might be Tatiana Suarez, and Tatiana Suarez has probably the highest level of wrestling in strawweight division. And I told you, I think I said that before. I think that's a fight to make. Claudia Gadelha.
I think if she gets this one, then that's the next for her. Would be Suarez.
Tatiana
I think
Suarez.
That would be a great fight to set up.
Because they're both.
But she's got to get through Ronda.
We can't skip over Ronda Marcos because she's no slouch. I mean, her record doesn't speak volumes, 9-6-1. But I've seen her victories, and she is an excellent fighter. So I'm absolutely looking forward to this fight. I definitely wouldn't give it fight of the night, but I'm definitely going to say that this will be an exciting matchup.
Right, could be the best of the prelims.
Yeah.
And
then next on the list, another really good fight is Marlon Vera, 13-5-1, going up against Moilin Hernandez, 9-2. And what do we think?
I think I'm not sure, but I think Hernandez is a late fill-in because of the original opponent for Vera. Might have been injured. Not really sure. Don't quote me on that. But I like Marlon Vera in this one. Decent overall game. I don't really know Hernandez, so
I don't know anything about Hernandez.
Yeah.
When I looked at the fight, it looked like it was going to be one of those fights that might be a battle.
Yeah.
So
and I mean, I think he's a fill-in making a debut, and a lot of times those people tend to pay off.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to put up a fight to get that contract because they know win or lose because they did a fill-in, they're going to get another fight.
Yeah. So I mean, you got nothing to lose, go for it and put on the best show you can.
Yeah, so. I think he goes for broke, but I agree with you that Marlon Vera, who had more time to prepare, takes the victory. But a really good. Now this fight is really good. The main event of the prelims. Excuse me. I really like Gilbert Melendez. Yeah. I've seen a lot of his fights. He's an excellent fighter. 22-7. So he's got a lot of fights under his belt. Going up against Arnold Allen, 14-1. Newcomer to the UFC. What do we think?
I gotta go with Gilbert on the veteran experience. He's good everywhere. Great grappler, fantastic grappler. Trained with the Diaz brothers for years. Pretty good striker. He's been through wars. In Strikeforce, WEC fought. He's held titles, and he'll not go away easy.
And I think this is the only promotion he hasn't held a belt in.
Yeah.
And so I do know that about him, that he has held belts in every other promotion, and he's looking for his UFC belt. And I think he just missed getting it. I forgot who he fought against, but he.
I think it might have been Frankie Edgar during his title reign.
Okay.
I think they went into a 5-round war.
I think you might be right about that. So Gilbert Melendez is a title contender. Arnold Allen, 14-1 though. That's a pretty impressive record. I don't know if it's his UFC debut.
Not sure too much about Allen.
Not a lot, but when I see a guy with a 14-1 record, I always like.
You didn't get there by accident.
Yeah, you didn't get there by accident. So just for a little bit of drama, I'm gonna give Arnold Allen the victory, and I'm gonna say third. I'm gonna say he's gonna take it to the last round. I don't want a decision.
I think that's a good pick because Gilbert is on the tail end age-wise. I think he might be past 35.
Yeah.
He's real veteran. Been a ton of injuries over his career, and I don't know. Like he's dangerous everywhere. But I think if Gilbert wins, it'll be a decision. I think Arnold Allen, go for it.
I think
put it on the veteran and get your win.
I think Arnold weathers the storm against Gilbert, and I want to see. I'm not saying I believe that it'll be a finish, but I want to see a finish, and I think it happens in the third.
And that propels you high.
Yeah.
Even like I said, Gilbert's on the tail end, but still a win against a name like that.
That's definitely gonna boost your stock real high in the UFC. So now we get into the nitty gritty. Nothing but high quality fights. This next fight, first fight of the main event, is a fight that comes with the highest level of possibility of excitement.
Yeah.
And that's Diego Sanchez, the king of punches, going up against Michael Chiesa. Is that how you say his name? Chiesa.
Yeah.
These two guys, man, they'll put it on each other.
I think so. Diego Sanchez, maybe the original volume striker.
Yeah.
Comes at maybe the original super aggressive guy. They call him the Nightmare for a reason. He's slowed down.
Two of the top 10 best wars of all time. Are in Diego Sanchez's.
I gotta think one of them goes to him and Gilbert Melendez, who's fighting in the prelim card.
And then the other one was with that dude with the long hair.
And him and Clay Guida. Hall of Fame. That fight is in the UFC Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
It's an incredible fight.
So.
And he's still got a lot of that in him. He's not quite as aggressive as he used to be, but I mean.
But if he thinks he's hurt you,
yeah, absolutely,
you better be ready for the storm. The hurricane is coming if he thinks he put a hurt on you.
I think look for this to be an incredible grappling battle. Michael Chiesa, great grappler, real long limbs. Sets up great submissions, great guard. He was a lightweight fighter for a while. So was Diego. But he's only had one fight at welterweight, Michael, but it was against Carlos Condit, and he tapped him with a single-arm Kimura.
Wow.
Yeah, with just one arm. So it was pretty impressive.
Wow.
And that's what the type of ground game he has. I mean,
Carlos Condit
on the ground is no slouch. So this is real interesting.
Yeah.
I think look for Chiesa can box too, but I think look for him to grapple any chance he can get.
Yeah, to try to get rid of the crate. Because, I mean, anytime you got a guy who throws punches in bunches like Diego Sanchez, you're running a risk of getting knocked out.
But quality groundwork from Sanchez too.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be real exciting.
Yeah, like I said, it has the potential to be one of the most exciting fights. And, if it goes the right way, it could be a fight of the night. So I look forward to seeing what happens. But I am going to go with Michael Chiesa.
I think so as well.
I think he just has the higher skill level.
I think look for him to, try to press real hard for that submission. He really wants to make a name in the welterweight division, and he's got that big win over Condit. I don't see
that is a big win.
See Sanchez slowing him down. Not now. Maybe 5-6 years ago.
Okay. All right, well, we'll see what happens with that, but it's going to be an exciting one. Next fight on the card, once again, this is a fight I'm excited for. Jan Blachowicz, 23-8, going up against my boy Luke Rockhold, 16-4. We haven't seen much from Luke Rockhold in a while. He got a very upsetting and by his own fault loss of the belt to the undeserving Michael Bisping. The worst champ I think I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Did not defend his belt very well. Luke Rockhold, I think, has had one fight since then. I like Luke Rockhold. I like watching him fight. He looks like the Punisher, like from the movie.
Yeah.
And I just like watching him fight. He's a very technical fighter.
Great skill set.
Yeah, great skill set all around. And Jan Blachowicz is an excellent fighter as well. I think this is going to be an excellent matchup.
Yeah, I think, Jan's got probably a little bit of the wrestling edge, and I think he might have to use it because, like you said, Rockhold's technical striking. But,
he'll never underestimate an opponent ever again.
I don't think so. And his mental game, he had to sort through a lot of shit. But, we'll see. We'll see if he can make a big run. He's up at light heavyweight now, I believe.
Is this light heavyweight?
I think it is.
Oh, wow.
So he stepped up in weight.
You're right.
I think he always looked real lean at middleweight, so maybe, this will be a little easier for him. We'll see.
I almost think that might be a mistake. He was extremely dominant in the middleweight division.
He was.
I think
he was bigger and stronger than a lot of guys.
He handled Chris Weidman, and he would have absolutely beat Michael Bisping had he not underestimated Michael Bisping.
Complete underestimation of a fighter.
Yeah.
That fight is the perfect example of underestimating your opponent.
Yep.
No respect for Bisping striking as crappy as it is.
Exactly. Exactly.
But guy can still punch you.
Yeah, a guy can still land contact
and he's willing
and hit
to
the
try.
jaw.
Bisping is willing to
and
try.
And Bisping had absolutely nothing to lose.
No.
So
go for it.
Go for broke, and he did. And
shouldn't
he
even
came
have
out.
been there at the. I don't have enough bad things to say about Michael Bisping.
100% right there. 100%. So we're gonna move on from that. But
get your eyes fixed.
I give the victory to Luke Rockhold in this particular
I would
fight.
love to see that. I want to see Rockhold make a run.
Yeah. He's an exciting fighter, and I feel like up until that fight, a very disciplined fighter.
Absolutely. If he can get back on top of his game, matchups with some of them big light heavyweights is pretty serious.
Yep. All right. And then next, I can't stress how enough I'm excited about all of these fights, but we told you from day one of this show, my favorite fighter in this division, Jorge Masvidal, in the welterweight division, going up against the undefeated 19-0, one no contest, Ben Askren. This fight is gonna be awesome.
I think so. I love Jorge Masvidal. One of my favorite.
Best boxer in the UFC.
Absolutely. Kicks great as well. Good takedown defense. Pretty decent jiu-jitsu game. I like him as a guy. He's a fantastic person.
Very humble.
Ben Askren, not a fan. He's probably has some of the best wrestling that there has been in the welterweight division.
He has real good wrestling.
And
he proved that against his last fight, Robbie Lawler.
Well, I'm not sure so much what he proved in that fight. That was more the bad stoppage from Herb Dean with that bulldog choke. To get to that position, he did he weathered the storm of the big flurry at first.
Because it was over at first.
And I really thought Robbie was going to get him early. So that showed a lot about Askren. And he's done that with a couple guys, taking a beating and just grinded him through. He's really that type of guy. He gets his hands on you, he's going to put you on the mat.
And he's not 19-0, like we said, by accident.
And that's all he tries to do. Like you said about Ronda Marcos, he comes out, he wants to just get the hands on you. And that's it. Whether he gets your wrist, whether he gets your ankle. And
I feel like that might be hard to do against a guy with as elite striking as Jorge Masvidal.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a tough job to get in.
I think he's, much more better at measuring the range than Robbie Lawler, but he's more of a patient striker than Robbie Lawler. Robbie Lawler got more of the bull rush mentality, which plays into Askren's style, But Masvidal being the counter puncher and the the patient striker, Askren likes that stuff. I think what I want to highlight, technique of the week.
Oh,
Jorge
technique of the week.
Masvidal, I think it's very important for him with limb control in the grappling exchanges. What I've seen Askren love to do, like I said, he'll grab your wrist even and get his way to you just by that. Like, he just wants to put hands on you.
Yeah.
And then he'll get in towards you. Every time they exchange in some kind of clinch, he needs to know where Askren's wrist is going. Like, when he pushes him to the cage, he's going to immediately try that ankle pick. He goes at for that on everybody. One of the best ways to stop a double leg against the cage is to get your underhooks in and spread your legs out and turn your hips sideways so he can't square your hip base and pull you out. So now when you turn sideways, though, Askren's first thing, ankle pick. He needs to immediately be going for that limb control to make sure that Askren can't control his limbs, because then he's dragging him down.
That is a pretty good technique of the week right here. I really like that one. I hope you understood the explanation to avoid takedowns. Jorge Masvidal definitely has a task in front of him, but I think it's a task he can handle. I mean, let's not forget, he knocked out Wonderboy. And Wonderboy at one time was considered the second best in the welterweight division, next to Tyron Woodley.
Yeah. I mean, he's coming out great wins against Cowboy Cerrone,
Yep.
Darren Till,
Yep.
the big stoppage against Till. That was great.
So, yeah, Jorge Masvidal is on a tear, and this is the next guy in line.
And I did say that Askren, likes to fight a striker like that, but he's never fought one of this level.
No, this is the highest level of striking, especially in the welterweight division. No one's a better striker than Jorge Masvidal.
And I don't like him, and I don't like that win over Lawler. I want to see him go down big time.
And I think if Jorge Masvidal wins this fight, he's got to be in line.
Absolutely,
You got to
give him the title shot against Usman.
And
for sure.
if he wins this fight, whoever wins this fight gets the title shot. But if Masvidal wins this fight, I'm so excited to see him go up against the champ, because I think that would be an awesome fight.
I think that would be an incredible fight with him and Kamaru Usman.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Kamaru Usman, yep. So we'll see what happens with that. But now on to the championship events. We have the co-main event, and this has so many implications. Amanda Nunes versus Holly Holmes. And you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think with the implications of this fight and the quality of both fighters, even though it's Bones Jones, I almost think Amanda Nunes and Holly Holmes should be main event.
I think so too, because she's got, the better contender, the more clear-cut contender.
Correct.
For the belt,
2 belts. She owns 2 belts. 2 fighters, the only 2 fighters that beat Ronda Rousey.
Absolutely.
Holly Holmes is the only female champ Amanda Nunes has not yet beat.
Right.
How are they not? I mean,
I think there's definitely
a sexist thing going on.
I think so. This is definitely the bigger fight overall. And, John Jones's name, I think, is bringing him into the main event here.
Of course.
Because his challenger is not the same caliber as Nunes's test that she has to face.
This is the most dangerous fight for both fighters. Both fighters are because Amanda Nunes has gone up against some really good strikers. I mean, Chris Cyborg blow your head off.
Yeah.
But Holly Holmes, her level of striking, Amanda Nunes, I don't think she's faced this level of striking before.
I totally agree because of the style of it. Her counter-punching ability. But, we got to look at the opponent they have in common, Cyborg.
Yeah.
And Nunes put her away quick, and Holmes lost a hard 5-round decision to her. So I think Holly's counter-punching and counter-striking style is fantastic, but she got to put something together to get through Nunes, because if she stands back trying to land one shot, I think she's going to get blown through.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, is I think the difference between Amanda Nunes and most of Holly Holmes' opponents, probably excluding Cyborg, is that Holly Holmes has kind of in a way been able to dictate the fight.
Right.
But
while moving backwards.
While moving backwards, where Amanda Nunes is coming forward with no fear of being knocked out. But my thing is I don't think it's going to happen the same way. But if Holly Holmes were to win, it's going to be similar. I think Amanda Nunes is going to come in excited, head kick. And Holly Holmes has a vicious head kick.
Absolutely.
I don't believe she wins this fight, but if she does, I think it comes from a punch, like a 2-punch combo followed up with a head kick. You know remember the kick you were talking about? Crack, crack, up.
Right. The step through roundhouse. Absolutely.
I think
and that's in her arsenal.
Yeah, I think that's something we could see.
And her straight left hand is a serious shot. But I think in the Cyborg fight we seen too much. She was a little too tentative. Sometimes she looked a little too nervous. Sometimes she strikes me as real nervous.
I agree.
She needs to relax, and she got to put it together because she can't land one shot at a time against Nunes.
No, because
it didn't work against Cyborg.
No.
It's not going to work against Amanda Nunes.
And this right here to me looks like. If I'm gonna call, I'm gonna call this fight of the night.
Right.
I think it has the most.
But
potential.
Holly Holm, I think, has a good chance here, even though with the Cyborg loss, because I think that is the picture perfect tell-all for her of what not to do.
Yeah.
In this fight, because it's almost the same fight.
Close. Yeah. Very close. Amanda Nunes is.
But I think even Nunes might throw a little more wild than Cyborg. Honestly, I think her right hand comes more over the top, whereas Cyborg would come straight down the middle. That might play into Holly Holmes, better into her counter striking style.
And the other thing is, and I fear this about for Amanda Nunes, is when Amanda Nunes sees red, her arms come down.
Yes.
And she throws like this. That's that's why I think it's gonna open up that head kick to the jaw, and
throwing them wild punches is bad with the straight throwing southpaw too, coming straight down the middle.
So it's I don't
it's a tough one to
I call Amanda Nunes, but
I feel like
the
Nunes,
same way we felt about Holly Holmes versus Ronda Rousey. Everybody said it. This could be the one fighter who could beat her. This is the one fighter, the only fighter I believe in the women's bantamweight that can beat Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, I totally agree. And but like I said, she's got to be calm. She's got to put it together. Confident that she can win. Yeah, and get the nerves out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just go for it.
All right. So we got Amanda Nunes taking this fight.
Yeah.
I think if Amanda Nunes wins, I think it's going to be a first round knockout.
Yeah.
I think she's just going to keep on trend.
I agree. If not, if she doesn't get a first round knockout and she does win, it'll be a repeat of the Cyborg fight with Holly Holm.
Yep. So now on to the main event. Jon Jones going up 24-1. I don't even want to say won no contest because I don't think that what he got canceled for affected the win of that fight. Going up against Thiago Santos 21-6. Now there's a lot of variables in this fight.
Yeah.
Now we all know that Jon Jones is leagues above Thiago Santos.
Yeah.
But the other thing we know is it only takes one.
That's true.
And if there's a person who can land one that could put a person like Jones away, it is Thiago Santos.
His power is pretty serious. It might even be a little more than Anthony Rumble Johnson. So he might be one of the...
Especially because he's bigger now to be in light heavyweight.
He might be one of the hardest hitting light heavyweights ever, for sure. I think this is... I don't want to take nothing from Santos really, but I think this is an easy fight for Jones. I think it'll be won on intelligence and experience, and I think Thiago's losses that I've seen, in the UFC even, I'm kind of confused how he gets the nod as the #1 contender personally.
Because
I think it's just the knockout wins because of the winning against Anthony Smith. So because you said that, I'd that's the opponent they have in common.
Yeah.
So I want to look there. Where I think Anthony Smith did damn okay in the striking exchanges, with Thiago Santos. Yeah, he got hurt, but I think, he landed pretty well. And I think, if John Bones Jones lands like that, it's a real problem for Santos.
Yeah.
But I think Anthony Smith did well in the grappling with Santos, too. So I think Jones is not in trouble in any area.
Yeah, I find it hard to believe he's in trouble, but it's that fight that it's like, so I want to kind of talk about what Jon Jones, the few things Jon Jones has said, real quick. He said that that he's not afraid of guys who hit hard. He's faced guys who hit hard, which is true. Mm-hmm. He said, but I'm not afraid of guys who hit hard because they're not smart enough to land. Right. And when you watch Jones's fights, you understand where he's coming from. But I feel like that's kind of like an overconfident, jinxing thing to say. But then he follows it up by saying, I wish I was more worried about the Santos fight. And those are the fights you lose. The fight when you say, I wish I was more worried and I'm not afraid of him because he's not smart enough to land a punch, is when that one unforeseen punch comes in, and it might not even be an intelligent punch. It just might be happen to come in at the right angle.
Oh, he's got a good chance. I mean, the power's there. He's going to go for it. I mean, he's got a title shot.
And nothing to lose. He's got a title shot against the best with nothing to lose.
So, I mean...
those guys are dangerous.
He's got a real shot. Absolutely. I just think, Jon is too smart.
Mm-hmm.
I think, that he's refined himself and since his comeback in a way that is above any other mixed martial artist. He's coming up on serious records right now. Like, I believe this is his 21st fight in the UFC, or 22nd overall, which passes like Rashad Evans in the light heavyweight division. Wow. Nobody's had more fights
in the UFC
overall.
Wow.
He's on 16 fight win streak.
That's it?
Which is tied with Anderson Silva. Yeah,
wow.
because of the in the UFC.
In the UFC,
but and because of the no contest or whatever.
Yeah, the no contest fight.
But
no, the loss. For the illegal elbow to the head.
The disqualification fight, and so overall 16 fight win streak, tied with Anderson Silva.
Wow.
Which with a win over Santos could give him the record.
I honestly think
that's pretty serious.
A lot of people forget Jon Jones is, and probably still, the strongest man in the light heavyweight division. He is exceptionally strong.
Regardless of his body shape and size.
Because it's not about his size, it's about his actual physical strength.
And everybody forgets what kind of wrestler he is.
And there it is.
Which is incredible.
That brings me to my next point. Jon Jones wins this fight wrestling. He does not, I say he does not stand with Santos. I think he takes Santos down, he presses him against the fence, brings him down, works him, rear naked choke, first round.
I think it could be very simple with the way that he beat Gustafsson. It could be...
And Gustafsson's way more of a threat.
It could be super, super easy fight for him. Watch out for the power, and you go home with the records in your belt.
And because I think, like, if you even just think about this for a second, take Jon Jones out of this fight. Daniel Cormier comes back down the light heavyweight fight. He's going up against Thiago Santos. Nobody is even thinking Thiago Santos has a chance.
Right.
And Bones is above.
Right. Nobody is taking Jon Jones's wrestling into account.
Exactly.
I totally believe that you're right. If this was, Santos versus Cormier, he would be ruled out by Cormier's grappling.
Exactly.
Nobody would think that it's even a fight.
Exactly. And because it's kind of similar to Daniel Cormier and Rumble.
I almost give a big nod to Jon Jones's striking and look at it like Santos shouldn't be there to strike with him.
I don't think that Santos is at that level.
It's just power.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an impressive win over Anthony Smith, but not that impressive. No. I mean, I think with how hard of a time Jones had with Smith, and I don't see Santos as to be the big elite.
No.
I think they're searching for a fight for Jon. And that's
and the sound of this fight, and
perhaps the records too.
And the sound of this fight is exciting because Thiago Santos is an exciting fighter.
Absolutely, and puts guys to bed.
And he exactly. So everybody has a puncher's chance. You put it out there as that
chance he could knock the longtime champ out.
Exactly,
that's a big deal.
And we've said it before. Jones is due.
Yeah,
so it could happen.
Absolutely. Although Santos seems to have a suspect chin of his own. Watch out for the big knockout from Jon Jones.
That would be so emphatic. Funny if Jones is the one who knocks him out.
I think that
even though it shouldn't be considered
real possibility. But the wrestling, put him on the mat.
Put him on the mat.
It's all over.
Get to his back, take him out, end the discussion.
Absolutely.
All right, we're about to run out of it, so we always got to end the show the same way to remind you guys. We have Instagram @gymbag_ENT. We have Facebook at GymBagENT. We have Twitter, #GymENT. We got our website, gymbagentertainment.com. And finally, we have our YouTube channel, which is Gymbag Entertainment. We want you to do all three things: like, share, subscribe. Please take care of us, help us out, let us grow. But until then, we'll see you in the octagon. This is Tale of the Tape.
Peace.
Have a good night.